You are so fortunate tonight. We have one of our most popular pre-convention speakers, Mr. David Marshall. And I'm not going to bore you by talking to you myself. I'm just going to turn this over to David, and he is going to take you through one of the most important pieces of getting a job, and that's honing your interview skills and practicing. So you're going to get up, move around, do some interviewing. You're going to have a surprise visitor if you haven't heard. Our Madam Mayor is going to come. Oh. So when she comes, I don't know how she's going to interact, but be prepared. Okay? Just have fun. David's going to take you through some great times, and here you go, David.
Good evening, everyone. I hope it finds you all well on this wonderful, beautiful evening. As was stated by Sandy, I am going to talk about probably the most essential part of getting a job, and that is the interview process. We know that part of even getting in the door is the resume. Now, I'm not talking about that this evening, but that's the paper you. And then when you walk in, then they see you. So I want to kind of segue into this a little bit by saying, kind of between the resume and the actual interview, put in your head that it should match. The paper and you should match. So basically what I'm saying with that is, I don't want anyone to walk into an interview after having looked so beautiful on a paper, and then when you leave the interview, the people say, well, who in the world was that? It's happened. I've had it happen. Please don't be that. All right, so now let's move into how to prepare for the interview. Just kind of a little side note here. I kind of like to go through the presentation a bit, and I leave like the last 15 minutes or so open to any questions, any comments, any discussion points, okay? So if you have any questions during the course of the presentation, please write. Obviously, you can take these slides home with you. Please write on them, write any questions, any talking points you'd like to bring up in the last few moments, okay? All right, so the first thing we're discussing is how to prepare for a job interview. And with that, one of the first things you want to do is research the company that you are interviewing for or with. You want to, when you walk in the door, show yourself approved. And part of showing yourself approved is knowing exactly what the job is, what the company is, all of that good stuff. So before you go into the interview, as I said, it's important to find out as much as you can about not only the job that you're interviewing for, but the company at large. For a concise understanding of the company, check out the company website, specifically the About Us page, okay? So when you actually are applying for a job, you have the job description. That actually tells you a bit about the position itself. Don't rely solely on that description. Okay, so going back to what was stated here, you want to go to the About Us page so that you find out exactly what the company is all about. Okay. Also spend time tapping into your network to see if you know someone who can help you give you an edge over on the interview. So this is the thing that we don't like to always say out loud. We like to keep some things hidden, but the reality of it is, ladies and gentlemen, a lot of how we get jobs is who we know. We don't like to say that, but I'm sure that most of us in positions here, we kind of got on in the door because our good friend knew somebody who knew somebody who. That does not negate who you are and your qualifications. However, if you have that resource, it is intelligent to use that resource. Not to say, get me the job, hook me up. I'm not into that hook me up situation. But you want to speak specifically about the position, maybe the people that are interviewing you, so you have a little bit of know-how or understanding as to how to navigate the process, okay? All right, the next point there, match your skills and experience with the job description. So with that, you're going to analyze and break down the job description into headings of the required knowledge. So you want to kind of create your own little outline based on the job description itself. And so you're going to head that outline. And with that, it's each heading is what the criteria are for the job, okay? Those are each of your headings. And with that, you want to then begin to plug in the skills of yours that apply to each of those headings. Now, I know this sounds like a long and tedious process, and I'm sure that even those of us who have gotten these wonderful jobs have not gone through this process. However, it is important, especially if you're feeling any ways insecure about interviewing or this position at large. Do everything you need to do. So again, this may sound long and tedious, but trust me, it's good. It's very good. This is good stuff here. So you want to plug in your skills under each of the headings, skills and your prior experience. Note where the position fits within the organization. So what you also want to do, again, going back to the About Us page, is how does this fit into this whole umbrella here? So say you're interviewing at, we'll make it basic, at Target, and you're interviewing to be a sales associate there. How does that associate fit into the company at large? Where are you? Where are you in the grand scheme of things? Okay. Next there, under matching your skills and experience with the job description, note the skills and experience summary of your resume. So on that resume, make sure that, and this obviously is something that you will always tweak depending on the job that you're applying for. So on every resume, you have an experience summary. Make sure that that experience summary matches the job that you are interviewing for. You don't want to go into the job interview looking for a paralegal position, but yet you have the skills and experience summary stating your experience as a teacher's aide. Just doesn't make any sense. So make sure that each time you do it, they all match. And compare it with the requirements of the employer. Take note of the specific matches between your skills and the things the employer is looking for. The reason why you're taking note of those things is because obviously they will be talking points. So based on your skill set, they're going to ask you a series of things about how those skills will apply to their organization, their company. Okay, so you want to make specific notes or be able to talk very, very fluidly about your skills and how they will apply to the job you're applying for, okay? Think about questions and prepare responses. So the first part of this question is think about questions. So after you have been interviewed, obviously where you've been asked a series of questions, the employer is always going to say to you, do you have any questions for me? And some of us take this stance, oh no, I'm good. You know, I heard everything, you talked to me, I talked to you, I'm fine. Absolutely, you have to ask questions. Asking questions shows that you actually have an interest in what you're doing, what you're interviewing for. It also shows that you have done your homework. Again, homework, the research portion of this preparation, is key. So if you come to the interview and you have nothing to ask, then myself, because I didn't talk about me, I own a company. I actually own a trash removal business, and I'm a third generation owner of this 66-year-old company. So for someone who is coming to interview with me, now it's a trash removal business, so I'm not going to act like it's way up on the high totem pole. There may not be 20 different requirements there. But if you know something about Marshall Jr. Incorporated, that does impress me as an employer. So it shows me that you've done your homework, that you actually are serious about the position that you are applying for, okay? So again, ask questions, ask them. So the second part of it is and prepare the responses. So the responses are obviously the responses to the interviewer's questions. Okay, I'll talk a little bit more about that in this segment here. So setting out responses to standard questions about you and your application is one of the most important steps in how to prepare for an interview. The bulk of most job interviews are composed of questions based on your resume. Okay? So what does that mean? That means that everything on your resume should be legitimate. Okay? It should be legitimate. Again, the first part of your introduction really is your resume. That kind of what gets you in the door. But again, as the employer, I'm looking at it, and it is a fair assumption that everything that is placed on that resume is something that you have actually done. So you want to make sure you are very familiar with it and are prepared to answer pretty detailed questions about your past experience, because those detailed questions will go along with the position that you're applying for. They're going to make those applicable to the position that you are applying for. Now, they have your resume in advance, so they've gone through with a fine-tooth comb and they have prepared themselves based on what they are looking at. So when they come into the room, when you come into the room and you sit down, know that they have everything already drawn out for you, again, based on what your resume has on it. Now, is it totally about your resume? No. I mean, after they kind of talk to you about you, then they have some more tailored questions that are more specific to the position. Okay? Now, with that, let me put a little side note there in terms of questions. So this was a little tidbit that I got when I did my graduate comprehensive exams. So when I did those exams, the professor that prepared me for those exams, they were oral comprehensive exams, which meant that I had a verbal test. Now, half of us freeze on the written test. The verbal one could just push us all over the edge. So with that, one of the major things my professor said in preparing me for that was, the answer is never, I don't know. Now, you may not know the answer. That is legitimate. Every answer to every question, we will not have the answers to all questions. But the default answer is never, I don't know. What the advice that was given to me was be able to talk intelligently about something in the neighborhood of the question that's being asked. Okay? Be able to have some sort of related conversation. Now, with that, sometimes when we get a little nervous because we don't know the answer, we might start to ramble and go on and on and on. Don't do that. Then you dig yourself into a little hole there. So keep it brief. Keep it brief, because you yourself already know, I did not know that answer to that question. And I know I'm just sitting here flying by the tail of my pants here. So you don't want to fly too far out there and not know where you're going. So keep it brief, but again, just really quickly pull it out, something related, but again, never say you don't know. Now, is it all right to pause? Yes, it's all right to pause, to process what has been asked. Is it all right to ask, can you repeat the question? Absolutely, it is all right. And in asking to repeat the question, if you are trying to really process what they want to know, it is also appropriate to restate the question, rephrasing it in words that make sense to you, basically, just to see that you're on the same page. Those are things that are very, very appropriate, very, very necessary, because the one thing you don't want to do is then just give any old answer. If you didn't understand the question, go ahead and you can ask for clarification. The other part of my life outside of owning this company is I'm a teacher. So I've always encouraged my students, and I teach music. I don't teach calculus. Thank the good Lord. I got a music degree for a reason, and it's because math just was not my thing. But in that, I've always said there are no stupid questions. There aren't. There are not. If you don't understand something, it is your duty to acquire the knowledge. You will never get that knowledge if you don't ask for that knowledge. Plain and simple. But to sit very poised in your chair, looking nice as you want to look in that interview, but clueless as the day is long is not what you want to do. Plain and simple. So ask, ask, ask. Okay? All right. The next point here, consider what to wear. So I love this one. I actually do another workshop on wear it well. Now what I really love, what my real passion is clothes. That's why I get very excited in my spirit is about what I'm going to put on the next day. I'm not going to lie, it's just what it is. So I won't, as much as I would like to go way over yonder in this wear it well situation. That's what this segment is called. I'm not, but I'm going to say this. We want to be obviously professional in our attire. What does that look like? Commonly, darker colors. Now, we stay away from the blacks only because the black sometimes looks a little formal. If that's what you have, wear it. It's fine. But we tend to go for the grays and the navies, okay? Those are professional things. Now, obviously, you're tailoring your attire according to what you're interviewing for. So it's completely appropriate. So we'll go back to, I used the Target thing earlier. So it's completely appropriate if you're interviewing at Target for a sales associate position to wear khakis and a button-up shirt. I always feel, gentlemen, a tie would be nice. That's always nice. Is it a must in that setting? No, but I think it shows well. Okay, so for the gentlemen, if you're in that setting, yes, and ladies with that, it's also not completely inappropriate if you have on slacks or khaki pants and a nice blouse. The other thing in this is 2017, and a lot of us have a little bit of artwork on our bodies. That's a personal choice. It's completely fine. However, you want to make sure that in the interview, it is completely and totally covered. Completely. We don't need to know everything about who you are outside of the job description based on what you have on you. Now, I'm not taking myself, I have my own, but again, those always stay covered. And let's pause for just 1 second, because I do see that we have a special guest, and that is our Honorable Mayor, Kathleen Pugh. Welcome.
Thank you. So am I here to do my mock interview?
Absolutely, or you can be the interviewer.
I'm going to be the interviewer.
You want to?
I got a job.
You got
And I like it a lot.
Wonderful.
Okay.
Yes, so, with that.
Have you prepared them? Have you gotten to?
Well, we are talking about one of my favorite talking points, and that's what to wear.
Okay.
Yeah, that's where we are in this segment now. Do you have anything you'd like to add to any of the points, maybe early on, anything that stands out to you?
I think this is really important. I used to teach this class as well. So I think knowing what the organization is, and you can find all that information today out online. It's so easy to research organizations today. And it shows that you're really interested in the company that you're coming to work for. So always just go online, do your research, learn as much as you can. And oftentimes it's even good to look at their financial statements, because every company or corporation has a year-end statement, so that's always good to take a look at too. And I think this is important too. You should know what job you're applying for and what the skill level is that is required, and if you've obtained those skills. And so you should be able to display those. And then think about the questions and prepare for responses. Everybody's going to ask you, and we'll do that. We'll talk a little bit more about that. And consider what to wear on an interview. I tell people, I always like to tell this story that when I was in high school, one of the things my parents used to do, my mother, parents who like to take you window shopping. So my mother used to take us window shopping all the time. And one of the places that she used to take us was downtown Philadelphia. I'm originally from Philadelphia. And so we would walk by these beautiful display windows. And one of the places we used to walk by was a store called Baumwood and Teller, which was an exclusive store only in Philadelphia, New York, and LA. And so I said, oh God, I wish I could work there. And so what I did one day after coming out of school, I went to Baltimore Teller and asked him if I could have a job. And so I got a job as a stock girl. And, but I would go to work every day. You would have thought I was a store manager. And so I'm in the back room one day just unpacking boxes. And this woman comes in the back room and she looks up, she says, well, who are you? I said, well, I'm the stock girl. And I proudly, I was a high school student, so I'm a stock girl. So she said, let me tell you what I'd like for you to do. You see that rack of clothing over there? She said, that's my line. So we have, I have this exclusive line at Bonwood and Teller. So here's your job. This is what I'd like for you to do. You come in after school every day, you go to the rack, you pick out an outfit, and you walk the store. So I became the store model. And the reason I share that with you is because one of the things my mother used to say to me, I don't care what the job is, look like you own the place that you're going. Always look, you know how you see some folks, well, I'm just going for this job, so, I can just throw on a pair of jeans and go. No, because it's not, your appearance is what gets you in the door. It's what you say once you're there that, allows you to get that job. So always be prepared, always dress your best. And I'm not saying that you got to have on $1,000 suits and $500 shoes. I'm just saying look like success. Because success breeds success. And when people see people who look like they're successful, they want them in their presence. So that is really, really one of my favorite things. And what to bring to an interview. Sometimes we'll bring a small pad and a pen, because you might want to take notes. But you also want to be very attentive in that interview. Don't bring flowers. Okay. And I think again, what you wear, and be prepared for questions, and always have a question that you might want to ask. Not, hey, how's your family? Who cares? Somebody cares, but that's not what the interviewer wants to hear from you. You might want to, say, like, I don't want to do that piece because we're going to do this little mock interview, and I'm going to do it with a few people, and let's see how we do. All right. So, DeRee Lee, how are you? Is that how did I say your name correctly?
It's Darren, but you did fine,
Thank you. No, I didn't. It's Darren. So, thank you for coming. But before we start, let's decide what job what Darren is applying for. Let's assume, Darren, that you're applying for the job of, let me look at your skill.
Office manager.
Let me see what he's got. So what job are you applying for? I've actually had 3 positions, Darren.
Yes.
Can you tell me what job you're applying for today?
I'm applying for a trainer's position.
So tell me a little bit about your background.
Well, I'm currently a graduate student. I've worked for Circuit Court for Baltimore City. I'm a native Baltimorean. Did all my schooling in Baltimore City, and I love the city.
So you're applying for a trainer's position, am I correct?
Yeah.
And so we have 3 positions available in our department where we do training, and we do training in some specific areas. What area do you think that you have expertise in?
My expertise is workforce development.
And tell me about your experience as a trainer in workforce development and what qualifies you for that position.
Well, my experience comes from business interface. I was a workforce development trainer. I was responsible for training people who receive public assistance to get jobs. I worked that job for 1.5 years before they lost their contract. What qualifies me for the position is the experience that I had with them, and coupled with my bachelor's degree from Coppin State University.
So how long were you at your previous job?
I was there for 1 year, 6 months.
And before that, where did you work?
Before that, I worked for Baltimore County Public School as a long-term teacher.
And how long were you a teacher?
I was with Baltimore County Public School for 3 years.
And you graduated from Coppin State?
Yes.
And how long were you at So did you go full-time, part-time?
Well, I graduated Coppin in 1988, but I'm currently a graduate student working on my master's in adult and continuing education.
So now this is a full-time position. How will you be able to go to college and work here?
Well, I attend college 3 days a week, evening classes.
Tell me what you know about our company.
Well, I know that your vision, Power Baltimore, basically, your vision is to try and employ as many city residents as you can. In order to reach your goal, you are offering workshops and training programs for Baltimore City residents to obtain your objective, which is to employ as many people as you can. What I could do to help you is lend my skills at training people to find jobs. I can also volunteer to help you if you like.
What is your salary requirement?
$40,000. But I'll accept $32,000 if that's the starting salary.
So what do you do in your spare time besides, I understand you do go to school?
Yes. Well, right now I work 5 hours a week as an adjunct professor at Baltimore City Community College, working with Europe students. Europe students are 18 to 24 years old, and they are from all parts of the city, and we train them to help them to find work, or if they would like to continue their education to get their associate's degree, we help them with that as well. And I also write a lot of papers for my graduate school.
So what skills do you have to offer?
I have presentation skills. I have PowerPoint presentation skills, Prezi skills. I'm also computer literate, and I have the ability to teach basic reading, writing, and math skills to adults.
So, tell me why she offered you this job.
Well, other than being a Baltimore City resident, I have a general passion for helping people. And I believe that your organization has a passion for helping people as well, and I believe I will be a good match for you.
Okay. Any questions you have for me?
I hope to hear from you soon, and thank you so much for interviewing me.
You're welcome. So, what do we think he did well?
Yes, but he didn't ask any questions. He didn't have any questions.
Any criticism? Constructive criticism, because we do constructive criticism. So let me just say, I thought it was a good interview.
Thank you.
If there was anything that I would ask you to do is to look more at the employer. You had a tendency to look away from me as opposed to looking directly at me. I thought your presentation was good. So yeah, I thought you did a good job.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Here's the one thing I would say as it relates to salary requirement. If you don't know the salary requirement, you either know it when you come in, okay? Because oftentimes, especially in city jobs, they'll say them right here, and or you could say you went up and then you went down. Who goes back? Everybody goes backwards. So, you're confident, so be confident in your skills and your ability. And presentation appearance was great. Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, next.
No.
So let me just say a little bit about the company that you're coming to work for before you sit down. So you're looking for a job with, let's say it's IBM, okay? The position that I have available is administrative assistant. We're a Fortune 500 company. We specialize in having a lot of benefits for our employees. We encourage people to be health conscious, and we're excited about the technology of the future. Okay? All right. You have a resume?
No, I don't. I'm sorry. Got it?
And your name is?
Amaris Talbot?
Amaris?
Yes.
So how are you, Miss Talbot?
I'm doing fine, and yourself?
I'm great. I'm great. So tell me a little bit about you and why you think you're a good fit for this company.
Well, I am 34 years old. I am looking to enhance my career opportunities. For the past 14 years, I've been working as a teacher's assistant, and I want to do some more administrative work.
Why administrative? You've been a teacher for so long. Tell me why you would want to be in the administrative field.
Because it's still helping people, and I have a passion. I love to help people, and I want to see people increase their abilities as I can help them and increase mine as well.
Tell me what you know about our company.
I know that you are a Fortune 500 company. I know that you are, I'm so nervous, I'm sorry. I know that you are excited about the future and excited about the company and excited about the advancements that you all are making in the company as far as computer technology.
So tell me about your skill level. What makes you a good fit for our company?
I have very good organizational skills. I have exceptional communicational skills. I love people. I love to help people. I am willing to work as hard as needed to be, and I'm willing to be trained in everything that needs to be done.
So tell me, what do you do in your spare time?
I do sing. I love music. I write. I love anything that has to do with performing arts. I am a caregiver to my mother and my father, who both are sick. I take care of them as well as myself.
So why should I hire you?
Because I am a people person. I love helping people. I love doing anything I can for my fellow man. I am from Baltimore. I was born and raised on the west side of Baltimore, and I just love this city, and I love you.
Thank you. So tell me about your other work experience.
Well, I did attend school at Fortis Institute for medical assistant. I currently did not have a job in that field. That is something else I would like to do as well. I graduated with 3.48 GPA from Fortis Institute for Medical Assistance, but most of my working experiences in childcare.
So where do you see yourself 5 years from now?
5 years from now, I would want to see myself in a very professional environment, making at least $40,000 a year. If not in administrative position, working my way towards administrative position.
So when are you available? If we should decide to hire you, when are you available?
As soon as you want me to start.
Well, let me say thank you for taking time out of your
Thank you
schedule to
so
be with
much.
me.
Thank you.
My pleasure. Nice. So, any constructive criticism? Constructive? Okay. Yes.
In regard to her teacher's assistant skills, you could have elaborated a bit more. That would actually help with putting the skills that you've learned or attained on that position towards her position. That way you know for a fact that those skills are transferable and that they could use them from you. So that would actually give her, we can use you, we could put you in this position. You know what I mean?
So let me just say what I saw. I thought you were very confident, but what you did do, which is something I don't think you should ever do when you're in an interview, is apologize. You know, apologize if you're late. I always tell people when they come in late, you know, you are in a different position if you arrive to an interview late. You always want to arrive early, okay? And I always tell people early is on time. So you always want to arrive early. And when the employer arrives late, then I always feel like I've got the upper hand, you know, because now I got to start by saying, let me apologize for being late, you know. But so you didn't have anything to apologize for. And oftentimes when you're in an interview and you feel nervous, it's better to just take a breath. Just take a breath. Wonderful smile, by the way. I thought you went too far into what you did after hours. Like, I might not want to know that you're a caregiver, because then my concern is, are you going to be able to make it to work every day? Yeah. I mean, that is a benevolent thing to be able to do. But I'm more, as the employer, I'm more concerned about, are you going to make it to work every day?
Yes.
You know, and are you going to be on time every day? Are these things going to be a hindrance to you? I like the fact that you included singing, music, and writing, because it showed a very well-rounded individual. We might have you singing at all of our birthday parties. I don't know that it's necessary to tell your age. I tell people, a woman who tells her age will tell anything. joking. But because that's something that should never be asked of you, I think, in an interview. Okay. I love the years of experience as a teacher, and I do agree in a sense that you could have brought that out just a little bit. You know, I've been a teacher for teacher's assistant for 14 years. It was a great experience. I learned a lot from the children. I think I was able to share my compassion for them. I helped them to grow as individuals, and I look forward to growing. And one of the things I did like that you said when I asked you, where do you see yourself 5 years from now? I don't think income should have been the factor. I think the fact that I see myself in this company, I see myself rising in this company, because I'm going to give this company everything I got, because this is a position that I'm pursuing for the future of my career. You know, salary doesn't have to be the issue. I didn't ask you if you had any questions, and because you could have asked me, what is the salary range? You could always ask that. What's the salary range for this position? Okay.
And is there room for advancement?
Right, and room for advancement is one. But often, I think I would be very careful with asking about room for advancement, not because you're not looking for room for advancement. Oftentimes, advancement comes because you've done your job so well. Like yesterday, I was looking for a chief of staff for another agency at the city, and I remembered a woman that I met many years ago who was working in another agency. She was in an administrative position, but I said, you know what? That's somebody's chief of staff. She went back to school. She has her master's degree in public administration. So I reached down to that agency and said, let me have this person interviewed over here. Now, she wasn't looking for a job, but her professionalism that I see her oftentimes walking through the city, and if I mentioned her name, you probably would know who she is. But just her professional look every single day said, you know what, I'm going to call that person up and see if she would interview for this position. So coming into a position and doing the great job that you would do, you will notice, people will notice you. And if you're doing a great job, you know, sometimes people, as hard as they may not want to let you move on, they would want that for you. Okay? I tell people one of the things that I've been able to do over the years is mentor younger people and to push them towards other opportunities. And even folks that are my age or older who've come into the workforce, I'm always trying to see, one, I want them to be comfortable in their workplace. Because when you're comfortable in your workplace, you enjoy your work. You know, a job should not be a job. A job should be a place that you come to enjoy, because you're going to be spending 8 hours at least there a day. And if you really like it, I don't have to worry about you running out the door at 5 o'clock. Okay? I'll do one more. Anybody want to volunteer? Okay, everybody scared?
Come on, it's your opportunity. You get to practice.
With the mayor.
Exactly.
No more volunteers? All right, okay. Thank you all. Thank you. Thank you.